We can change our chemistry, which is just otherworldly. I mean, who would ever dream that the two of us would be such lovebirds?
People at home who are like, oh, I have to have it. In the past, they couldn't have it. Now, in 2 days with Amazon, it's right on your doorstep.
It's nothing short of a miracle that this can actually be achieved.
What's the most interesting thing you've learned about love?
Yeah. It's my longest marriage ever. 17 years we've been married.
And I'm never marrying anyone else.
All right, that's a mic drop, guys. Hey family, it's Carlos Watson back with a very special episode. Now for years, our guests tonight showed off their incredible chemistry and hosting chops on the hit reality competition series Project Runway. Now they're back with their own hit reality show on Amazon called Making the Cut. Please welcome the dynamic duo, renowned fashion consultant and television personality Tim Gunn and global supermodel Heidi Klum. Take a look.
The Carlos Watson Show is brought to you by American Family Insurance.
Hey Tim, how are you?
Hi, Carlos.
Hey Heidi, how are you?
Hi, Carlos.
I'm really excited to have you. Tim, you don't know this, but Heidi and I had lunch. She doesn't remember, but we had lunch many, many years ago. It was at Madison Park in New York for an interview that we did together.
I do remember.
I knew you would remember.
Well, nice to see you again after 100 years. So how come you haven't interviewed me since then? Was it that boring?
No. I still tell people that no one has more good energy than Heidi Klum. You even told me that you found being pregnant fun.
That's true, because I did it 3 more times after. So, and I did tell the nurse and the doctor, I'm like, I'll be back next year. And they're like, no, you're not. And I was over and over again. And I'm so happy I did, because I have the biggest, craziest bunch here at home. My house is insane, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Now, Tim, something tells me that you would be the ultimate uncle.
Carlos, I'm a real uncle, and I will tell you a secret. People don't know this. My niece and my nephew, who are now in their 30s, they still call me Uncle Nagbag. Or just UNB for short. I nag about everything. When my niece was an infant and she was crawling, I taught her how to pick up lint.
You're like, while you're down there, make sure this is cleaned up down here.
Yes.
That is hilarious.
Now, Heidi, are you a strict mom or no?
My father was quite strict with me, and I wanted to be different with my kids. And my husband does tell me sometimes, he's like, you gotta put your foot down, otherwise they're gonna walk all over you, you know? And I'm like, well, sometimes I feel like it's already too late. They're already like who they are in a way, but I try to be more fun with them, instead of strict.
Did I see your big girl is now following in your footsteps?
It is mind-blowing to me. It really is. She's really good at it. She's 17. And I just stand on the sideline. I just watch her do her thing. Like, I don't have to be like, you should be more like this, or you should do more like that. She just does it. She feels super comfortable in front of the camera. And I think it's because she kind of grew up in this world. Like, I didn't grow up in this world.
Well, and I have to assert too, Carlos, on the topic of Heidi's parenting, her children are so superbly behaved. She has to be the most fabulous mom.
Wait, now where are you guys both right now?
I'm in a 100-degree New York.
Ooh.
And I'm in Los Angeles.
And so have you guys seen each other during the pandemic properly, or have you guys been doing everything by Zoom?
We filmed kind of at the height of the pandemic last year. You know, we were meant to shoot during the summertime, but then it got pushed further and further back to the end of the year. Tim and I and producers, we talked so much to the point where I'm like, I don't think it's gonna happen anymore. We still have no green light. But boy, once we got that, we were jumping up and down. And you know, who was more jumping up and down is our 10 designers, because for them, this is life-changing.
Be fearless! We can do it! I believe in you! We can do it faster!
The Our Home is the training ground for her dreams policy. Insure carefully. Dream fearlessly.
How much advice do you guys give them off camera?
We call it on ice, being on ice. Like they can't even like speak to each other, because then something would happen off camera and it's like, oh, this was discussed off camera. No, everything we do is on camera. You will not see everything that gets filmed on camera, because otherwise it would be like hours and you would probably be like, sitting there because we go really into detail, especially the deliberation. It goes on for hours.
Yeah,
We go
hours.
sometimes till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning because we were fighting for our favorites.
And Tim, do you guys fight differently on Making the Cut than you did on Project Runway, or are you just carry the same chemistry over?
Carlos, we can't change our chemistry, which is just otherworldly. I mean, who would ever dream that the two of us would be such lovebirds, which we are?
Tim, what is taking you so long?
I'm coming.
Making the cut. Making the cut. Making the cut.
Making the fool. On the other show, Heidi and I had such separate and discrete roles, we barely interacted. And on Making the Cut, we interact all the time.
It's a beautiful morning.
Always with you.
Finally, it's happening.
It's thrilling.
Mwah.
I'm so happy we're together
I
again.
mean, it's raining. It's perfect.
It's fantastic. It was part of what we wanted to do when we left the other show and created this new one.
I like it, The Other Show. We don't even give a name to it, we just call it The Other Show.
No, Project Runway was our first child.
This is Project Runway. You're either in or you're out.
Who will be the next big fashion designer?
That's me.
And we're proud of it. It's not like we're like, oh, we don't want to have anything to do with it. But I'm even more proud of what this new chapter in our fashion life is about, because this has become more real for everyone. It has become interactive, which is something we've always dreamt of. And we're actually giving these designers an opportunity, every assignment, that they can make money. You know,
Yeah.
Every assignment, when we have a winning look, you can buy it as the viewer immediately on Amazon Fashion in the Making the Cut store. So it's like, it's a win-win situation for everyone. People at home who are like, oh, I have to have it. In the past, they couldn't have it. Now, in 2 days with Amazon, it's right on your doorstep.
It truly is surreal. It's nothing short of a miracle that this can actually be achieved.
We both want to buy that.
100%.
I would like to see my husband in this.
Whose idea was it?
Heidi has wanted to do this for years, but Amazon makes it feasible.
By doing this show for so long, creating fashion, it never made sense to me that no one can actually have it. And, and the designers are not benefiting from it. We never could fill the circle all the way around if it wasn't, for someone like Amazon. And this is the only way how you can shop and get what you see on TV. It has never been done before. So this was, for me, the most natural thing.
Heidi, how have these two shows changed you, if at all?
I think, meeting all these creative people all the time definitely boosts you every time, because the same passion that I have for this industry and the twinkle in my eye I have when I see something that I'm like, oh, how amazing is this, what I'm just seeing on the runway? I have to have this. I see that same passion in their eyes when they're coming, their hunger for being here and, being accepted in this industry and producing things. They're artists, and, I still love it as much today as I loved it then. And there are so many talented people out there. And when you feel like you find someone special, you can boost someone's career by just shining a light on them.
The collaboration between you should allow you to do things that you wouldn't even conceive of doing individually. That's really what this is about. Take more risks, throw the dice. You want to win.
I mean, you're almost like a teacher who gets to watch people kind of grow and go over time.
I would never say I'm a teacher. I think I'm always more of a cheerleader, Jeremy Scott, who sits right next to me, I feel like he is who they all want to be. He is a true artist, a visionary.
You have to have passion in fashion. You take these garments and you show us who you are.
He has the ability to create the most amazing art pieces.
If you were to go back and talk to Tim 2004, what 2 or 3 things are going to surprise him the most about this journey?
Carlos, considering that I spent 29 years as a teacher in a classroom, the fact that I was even in a television show was, to me, completely flabbergasting, and I still have difficulty wrapping my brain around it. So that I was a consultant initially. I was never intended to be on camera. And even that first season of taping, I was very aware of the camera placement. And I thought, well, as long as everyone has the designers responding to me, no one needs to see me, no one needs to hear my voice. And no one was more surprised than I that I was actually in the cut of the show.
This is a coat that everybody's gonna be wearing, this overcoat. And we created a logo for it.
Okay. What the judges are going to be very concerned with is what's going on inside, right? And that's where you could crash and burn.
We never really intended for Tim to have a big part in the show, but this is how reality this show is. It's a real reality show, and Tim is, he never changed. He is today the same way how he was the very first day when we met. It's not like he's playing all of a sudden a part.
I was going to make a jumpsuit to go under, but I think I don't have time.
No, you do not.
When you guys look back across the expanse of it, tell me about one or two of the most talented people, Heidi, who you've come across over this time.
Christian Siriano is, he is incredible. I see him dress everyone, and from all different parts of life too. If it's a singer, an actress, a model, you name it, and he is so good at it.
When we met Christian for the auditions, I turned to my colleagues and I said, I've never met a fashion prodigy until today.
What makes you say that?
Looking at his work, feeling his energy, hearing about his vision.
We knew already then he was going to go far, and sometimes when that happens, it's hard when you do a reality television show, because oh my God, he's good every time. Like, do we know the winner already in the first week?
What do you do, Heidi, when that happens, when you're like, this kid is going to win the whole thing?
If that same person just knocks it out of the park every week, then that's it. That's reality.
Heidi, have you ever struggled with knowing who you are?
Probably still am today. No, I'm kidding. I love being a chameleon. I'm very eclectic, because I'm a Gemini. I have different moods. Like, I love to be super sexy. I love to play the sex kitten with the super short skirt and the super high heels. And then there's days when I'm like, no, today I'm business, and then I'm like, everything is like turtleneck, suit, still heels, but clothes give you like a certain kind of power or a certain kind of strength, or they underline your personality. And that's why I still think fashion is so important.
And Tim, what about you? Have you ever struggled with knowing who you are?
It was probably midway through my career as an educator that I became comfortable with who I am. And I won't say resigned, though I am saying it. Just accepting of this is who I am, and I'm proud of it, and I'm good at it, and I honestly thought I would spend the rest of my life in a classroom. So the fact that Project Runway happened at age 50 is totally surreal for me. Here we are 17 years later, and Heidi and I are with a new show on Amazon. It's really almost impossible to believe.
Life is a roller coaster of emotions, of things that are changing. Constantly you get something thrown at you and you have to deal with it, and also sometimes great things happen.
Heidi, you still have that good energy that I remember. And I think I'm officially putting Heidi, Tim, in my top 1% of energy people.
Agreed.
Tim, let me ask you a little bit about Dreaming Fearlessly, because as Heidi is saying, you guys have had a front row seat with a lot of creative people who've tried to dream fearlessly. What advice do you give to people who are trying to dream fearlessly, but maybe they're struggling, it's not coming together the way they want? When you're kind of having a real heart-to-heart, what's the best advice you've either gotten or given about dreaming fearlessly?
Well, the first thing that I ask an individual is, know who you are and tell me who you are. Who are you? And if you struggle with that question, then you're going to be off course, and you can't really be righted. That's the most important grounding element, in my opinion. And then we move forward from there. But until you know who you are and what you want to say and how to say it, you're going to struggle.
Yeah, and you can feel it. It's hard to believe someone when, because you have to believe into a concept that someone has. And, especially now when we're looking for a real brand, you have to have also a little business savvy too. You can't just like, I can sew a fun thing together, we're looking for someone who has longevity and who really thought this through. So if you haven't thought this fully through, and I can sense that, I already don't want to believe you, and you don't want to invest $1 million into that person for them to still figure out who they are, So it's really great when you find someone that they feel very secure on who they are and who they are dressing, who they want to dress,
Hey guys, I'm gonna do rapid fire with you to close out. Your favorite movie of all time?
Wizard of Oz.
I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too.
Madagascar.
This could be the best thing that's ever happened to us. No, no, no.
I also did love Finding Nemo.
Move, Dory!
I've watched more kids' movies than adult movies.
The most beautiful place you've ever been to in the world?
I love Italy.
New York City, the most beautiful place in the world. Taxi drivers are always asking me where I'm from because I'm gaping like a tourist. And I've lived here for 38 years.
What's the most interesting thing you've learned about love in this life?
Sometimes when you have your heart broken, and I've had it broken many times, it's amazing how that little fire, because it doesn't go away. It's not like you're all of a sudden dead. Even though when you break up with someone or they break up with you, you feel like dead. And then boom, it just happens. You meet someone and it's like, it's the most amazing feeling, you know? And I love to love.
I've learned to never take love for granted. It's a beautiful, fabulous thing, and it's also a wrecking ball.
Well, Tim, It's my longest marriage ever. 17 years we've been married. It's the best marriage I've ever had.
Me too. And I'm never marrying anyone else.
Won't tell my husband that, though.
All right, that's a mic drop, guys. We're going to leave it on that. Hey, Heidi, thank you for doing this. Tim, it is so nice to meet you.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you again.
Crew talk, take one, marker.
I like the fact that what they created, it offers so much opportunity, you know, for the designers and for them, and exposure, and the fact that you can see something that you like and really order it and get it in the next couple of days. I'm like, I think I'll tune in for that.
That was great how he, from the beginning, could see the prodigy, right? Like just from talking to the guy in 30 seconds, that's amazing. I think Tim Gunn just has this like amazing talent. Just knowing talent when you see that. I don't think everybody has that.
As you can tell from this shirt, I am not a fashion person. Their dynamic was just, it's so infectious. It is just like, you said, at the end you said something like, I love to see good people being good with each other. And I was like, that's exactly what I was going for. They are good people who are good to each other.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed Heidi and Tim. What a great duo. I love their chemistry together. So easy, so good with each other. I love Tim's story, the fact that he didn't expect to be in the show and has had this beautiful last dozen years plus. Love all of that. Heidi's got such great energy and is such a great entrepreneur. And wasn't their conversation on love good? Loved all of that. And Tim, I'm gonna think of you now as Uncle Nagbag. I'm gonna take liberties, call you that too, alongside your niece and nephew. Hey, big thanks to both of them and to all of you for tuning in. Don't forget, if you want more of the Carlos Watson Show, like, listen, subscribe. We got more good stuff coming your way. Be safe, be well, and be stylish. I'll see you on the other side.
It's still the night shift, just brighter. Still a night out, but everything fits in. Chevrolet, making life's journey just better.
We arguably tackled the most important part of the American experiment, our education system.
Racial disparity in academic achievement remains one of the leading problems in American education.
The coronavirus is exposing gaps in the country's school system and inequalities that are not going to disappear even when things do go back to normal.
Each morning, Tawana Brown and her family park their van within range of free Wi-Fi because it's the only way she can afford to get her 4 kids connected to their schools.
At the end of the day, I feel like the only way we can make changes to these systemic problems is to make systematic changes, and that's change the laws, and to change the laws, we have to change the lawmakers.
Many educators are rethinking how race and the roots of racism in this country should be tackled in the classroom.
Today marks 65 years since the landmark Supreme Court ruling in Brown versus Board of Education, which declared that school segregation is unconstitutional.
The most disappointing thing would be that there are some school districts that are resourced enough to provide education, but it's said that if they can't provide it to everyone, they're not going to provide it to anyone. And that's deeply disappointing because it's deeply pessimistic. I think in a crisis, you want people to rise up and to think differently and to take it as an opportunity to be better.
The problem in schools, inner city schools, is that they don't have the help. The teachers don't have the help. Our children are criminalized for behavior that children have when they're suffering from traumatic experiences at home.